Hello, everybody. This is Lynda Light. I'm bringing you a quick update today because we need to know what's going on, and there is definitely things that are ready to pop off. So I want to get right into it. I'm going to start off with the Schumann Resonance today. Today is April the 4th, 2022, and the Schumann Resonance is kicking off today. Lots of pulses and CMEs and flares coming in. However, we have a sustained amount between 28 and 30 hertz, but there's going to be a sustained amount in up to the 16, 20 hertz range. And the 20 hertz is going to stay consistent all afternoon from around 2:30 on Eastern Standard Time. You're going to be feeling at least 20 hertz going into the evening, as far as I can see right now, as far as the charts are looking. But it is going, you're going to have pops and integrations between 28 and 30 hertz. So if you feel like you need to rest and you suddenly get tired or there's a lot going on, you'll feel it for sure. And definitely a lot of whites and reds, a lot of trailing with greens, which is very unusual to see that much. But to me, it's feeling like that's more of a softer integration of everything that's going to pop off this afternoon. So just be prepared, be ready for that. And now what I really want to get into about the financial market. I shared something back in December. And let's just say, remember when there was a simulation of a worldwide pandemic back, in 2019, in the fall of 2019? Was it August, September, October, somewhere in there? And the World Economic Forum did a simulation of a world pandemic. And then what happened? So now here we have, this is a Russian site. I'm going to tell you that right up front. A quick Google search can show you that it is a Russian state-controlled international television network funded by the Russian government. It does not mean it's disinformation because it comes from Russia. Let me get into this a little bit. This article is from December 10th, 2021. Okay, that's from the Russian site. Now, I shared this on Facebook back in December, and I was telling people it's better to just be prepared, because what happened here is Israel took point on a 10-country exercise which simulated a crippling cyber attack on the financial markets around the world. Now, here's the thing. Whenever they do a simulation, they're projecting what's going on, because what they're doing is it's their way of instructing how they expect countries or well, say World Health Organizations or whatever, that's how they expect them to respond. They're training them. That's a training ground. That's what a simulation does, right? It's a training ground. So this was dubbed Collective Strength. And it was a drill that was conducted alongside the United States, Britain, Germany, Italy, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates, along other countries like major financial institutions like the IMF. This article, when I went to reshare this, because there's a lot of things ready to pop off, and I just thought it would be good for people to know because Reuters reported this. Now, I have a love-hate with them. Yes, they're very well respected around the world, news organizations, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, the problem with them is they fact-check themselves with their own articles. That's just not good enough for me. When I went to reshare this on Facebook, this article was slapped with all kinds of warnings that it's Russian disinfo, it's a Russian site controlled by their government, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they're trying to protect people from false Russian disinfo. I get that. I get why, they're doing that on the surface level, like we know what's really going on. But anyway, for those that maybe don't know what's going on, the simulation was headed by Israel. They're telling countries and banks, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, they're telling them how to respond when there is panic and chaos, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if an attack were to happen. Now, when this is slapped with something like a warning that it's disinfo, when I'm reading articles, I like to check links. And when there's a link saying this is reported by Reuters, and I go and I click the link, and it takes me directly to the Reuters website, basically the same article. Yeah, this isn't Russian disinfo. This was reported by Reuters on December the 9th, 2021. It's an International Monetary Fund exclusive, 10 countries simulating cyber attacks on the global financial system. Okay, here's a nice little picture for you. It was in Jerusalem, and they're trying to increase cooperation that could help minimize any potential damage to the financial markets and banks. That's what they want to do. They want to minimize any damage to their banks. I'm just inserting the word there. That's in my humble opinion. It was a simulated war game, as Israel's financial ministry called it, and it was planned over the past year. It evolved over 10 days. Sound familiar, guys? 10 days with sensitive data emerging on the dark web. Ooh, this is part of their simulation. It also used fake news reports in that scenario, which caused chaos in the global markets and a run on the banks. Okay, all right, I'll continue. The simulation, likely caused by what officials called a sophisticated players, featured several types of attacks that impacted global foreign exchange and bond market liquidity, integrity of the data, and transactions between importers and exporters. These events are creating havoc in the financial marketplace, said a narrator of the film shown to the participants as part of the simulation and seen by Reuters. Okay, so they watched the film, they watched the simulation, they participated in this. This is not Russian disinformation. They were forewarning what is going to happen. Israel government officials said that such threats are possible in the wake of many high-profile cyber attacks on large companies, and that the only way to contain any damage is through global cooperation, since current cybersecurity is not always strong enough. Attackers are 10 steps ahead of the defender, said the financial cyber managers at Israel's financial ministry, Mika Weiss. Participants in the initiative called Collective Strength included Treasury officials from Israel, the United States, United Kingdom, all right, I already went through all these places. Okay, so here they are. This is basically the same article that the Russian government was putting out in their news. The narrator of the film in the simulation said governments were under pressure to clarify the impact of the attack, which was paralyzing the global financial system. Is that really what's paralyzing the global financial system, though? Is it, when we know that it's a controlled demolition? We know that their Babylonian magic money-making, black magic money-making system is over. It's not based on gold. It's based on printing money out of thin air. So, it's going to crash at some point. It's, they're trying to take us into the Great Reset. We know all this. So, yeah, it's not hackers. This is the excuse that they use just to bring you up to speed if you're not aware of that. The banks, here we go, the banks, they're appealing for emergency liquidity assistance in a multitude of currencies to put a halt to the chaos as counterparties withdraw their funds and limit access to liquidity, leaving the banks in disarray and ruin, the narrator said. I would probably be laughing if I was listening to this. Do you know what this is saying? As people who are known as counterparties, counter to their agenda, counterparties withdraw their funds and limit access to liquidity. Now, it's your money. They have used your money over and over and lent it out over and over and created so much, you're only chattel, right? You do get that. They've made money from your birth certificates. There's a whole bunch of things with the corporation and the dark web. I know it's all conspiracy theory until it's proven true, but we know that these things have gone on. So we know that the system is dead, overdone. The dollar itself is going to be going down to zero very soon. It's going to crash and burn time. Now, they plan this and they ran simulations on how the banks would respond to this. So now, they said it would be announced at 11:28, from what I've been hearing from my money people, 11:28 a.m., because it's right before lunchtime, is when if it goes down to zero, it would be announced at 11:28 a.m. Now, I don't know how anybody can tell the exact time. That's just what I heard today. So that's just rumor, treat it as such. I mean, it could really be any time. The participants discussed multilateral projects to respond to the crisis, including a coordinated bank holiday. Coordinated bank holiday, meaning the banks are going to shut down. Debt repayment grace periods. Do you remember what happened during COVID, you guys? Do you remember how repayments to your student loans and car payments and credit card payments were all suspended? Debt repayment grace periods while they try to take us into the Great Reset. Okay, the Great Awakening is superseding the Great Reset. We're not going into their new money-making system. So the rubles in Russia, as a matter of fact, are the only currency right now backed by gold. And they've allowed for exchange systems to be set up. So all of the Gazprom, the big gas company pipeline that delivers to the European Union, Germany, and all those countries over there that are dependent on the oil, Russia has allowed and set up sites through the banking system, which is now probably run by the quantum computing system, quantum financial system. It's online so that they can take their monies and go into the bank and exchange it so that it can be sent and paid in rubles to Russia, which is backed by gold. And there's some 190 other countries that have signed on to this too. This is what I'm calling GESARA, 190 other countries. And we're watching a lot of things. I should do another GESARA update. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a GESARA update, because there's a lot of people that are new to this or have forgotten what's involved with that. All of the things that are happening, that it's not happening like, boom, the lights go out, boom, 10 days later overnight, woo, here's GESARA, here's all the good things. It's sort of like it's stretching out over a long period of time to be implemented so that when the flip happens, it's not going to flip people out. They're not going to lose their minds. You know, all the good stuff's waiting on the other end of it. But there's a lot of things that are taking time because you got to clean the swamp up. You got to get all the crooks and criminals and all the people that have committed crimes against humanity, all the justice that needs to be served. There's so much going on at the same time, and it's all hitting at once. Well, it seems like it's all hitting at once, but everything's being put into place according to a plan. So we have this very interesting simulation that was going on. It was originally supposed to happen in Dubai at the World Expo, but it was moved to Jerusalem. They're blaming the Omicron variant as to why it didn't happen. And the Omicron variant, if you remember, was basically the cure for COVID. It's basically helped COVID just disappear. So that's pretty interesting. I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but this is a very interesting time that we are living in. And there is a lot going on with the financial market. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to show you.
James Kaufman, World News Report today. Ladies and gentlemen, today is April 3rd, 2022, 4 p.m. Central here in the USA. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world, folks. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Critical future updates. Ladies and gentlemen, a state of emergency has been declared in the island nation of Sri Lanka.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear this or not. I think the sound might not be great, but it's a state of emergency in Sri Lanka. And it's only 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Food shortages, medicine, rolling blackouts.
With 22 million residents. Why, you ask? Well, they have huge food shortages, huge fuel shortages, 20% inflation in 1 month, and now 13-hour rolling blackouts. Well,
entire government.
Sri Lanka cabinet offers to resign as out-of-control inflation sparks widespread social unrest. Ladies and gentlemen, they were out in the pouring rain, and they've been out for days over there, and we're just finding out about it right now. Bloomberg reports that Sri Lanka's cabinet has submitted its resignations, a ruling party member said, amid rising public anger about the government's economic policies that have led to soaring living costs and a foreign exchange crisis. Quote, we gave resignations to the Prime Minister saying we are willing to leave at any time.
You hear that? This is crazy. So you guys, I was telling you, part of Nisera Jacera is a brand new government. It's the, have to get the installed regime that's in there. The government that was put into place needs to resign. They're corrupt, they're criminals, they're going to be held accountable. Justice is coming. Don't give up on that. It's coming. There's so much that has to be brought into the public awareness now. And if you brought all of this out at once, people would just absolutely lose their minds. So do take care of yourself. Do be prepared, not scared. Don't go out and start hoarding things or freak out or panic or anything like that. Just follow your guidance. Say your prayers, meditate, have that inner peace, because people around you are going to need stability and peace and calm to balance the storm that is surely just about over target now. So stay well, be a little bit better today than you were yesterday, and I will see you next time.